Welcome back to your Feel Good Friday morning. What an incredible week, and we are capping it with a great sound off going into the weekend. Now, August coming up is the month of the IACAPAP conference, or rather the International Association for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry and Allied Professionals Conference, which is a very big thing, where they'll be discussing mental health issues in young people in South Africa, which has become quite a hot topic at the moment. With us today representing the conference is Professor Petrus de Vries, who is the Struengmann Professor of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry and Director of the Center for Autism Research in Africa and the Adolescent Health Research at the University of Cape Town. An incredible list of accolades behind the name. So thank you so much for joining us. The conference itself obviously is a major thing, but it's great to see that we are, as a country, placing so much importance and focus on the mental state and health of our young people. Why is this becoming so prevalent at the moment from someone in your key position?
Well, the thing is, Graham, that actually the needs of young people in South Africa and in fact in Africa are vast in terms of mental health problems. If we think that maybe between 17 and 20% of all young people in our country have a mental health problem, so that's
Sure.
1 in 5. And yet, if we look at the available services and expertise and knowledge around mental health, it's actually really, really poor in our country.
I was going to ask, how much of these cases are going undiagnosed, and then even when they are diagnosed, how often do we get effective treatment?
Well, not very often. So let me give you an example. So what's the population of South Africa? What, 53, 55 million people? So almost 40% of our population are children. So they're under the age of 18. And yet, for the whole of South Africa, we have 35 child psychiatrists.
Wow.
Half of them work in private practice, so there are about 15 of us in the state sector. 8 of us are in Cape Town. So you can imagine there are provinces in our country that don't have a single health professional who's an expert in mental health. So you can just see the needs are vast, but the resources are extremely limited.
So it makes a pooling of intellectual property like this conference that much more vital. What happens at the conference?
Yeah. Well, so what we hope certainly is that this conference will certainly be a great opportunity for people, both locally but also in Africa, because this is the first time ever that this Congress will be in Africa. So it's a great opportunity for us. So we really hope it'll be a place for people to come and develop their expertise, update their knowledge, network with other colleagues. And what I also hope, and I think we all hope, is that governments, not just in South Africa, but also globally, will stop and look and think, good heavens, half of our continent is a child, and yet we don't have resources, skills and knowledge to treat the children who have mental health problems.
So I have to ask, and I know we really are simplifying it, what we do as parents or as family members or friends when we do see these sorts of issues emerging, how do we diagnose? Because surely this puts a lot more responsibility on families, on parents, than playing that key role.
No, of course it does. So it puts a responsibility on parents, but at the same time, we also realize that some of the best treatments and some of the best interventions we might do for child and adolescent mental health problems is through parents and through families. Because when a child has a mental health problem, let's say autism or ADHD or a depressive disorder, it has a major impact not just on the child, but on the whole family and on the community and on the system. And so we will never in Africa have enough therapists, so to speak, for every child, but most kids have a parent. And so we have a strong emphasis in our research as well. And there will be some of those discussions at the conference around how can we find interventions that are done through parents or through carers and through communities that will actually hit the target for young people.
And so this says to me it's as much a scientific exploration as it is a social study. We've got to understand the framework or the environment that you're working within.
And that's why when we work in mental health, and particularly in child and adolescent mental health, we always say, and people will have heard, I'm sure your viewers will have heard people talk about the biopsychosocial model. So it means we need to think about the biology, what causes the abnormalities in terms of the brain and genetics and so on. We need to think about the psychological stuff. What does it do to us inside and in our thinking? But the social component is just as important. And I think one of the challenges for us in South Africa, not only we just have few experts, the social systems, the poverty, the lack of resources, the challenges in our educational systems, all those things have a major impact in the context into which young people might have mental health problems.
Thank you so much for the tireless work that you do, excuse me, in this phase. in this sector. I think we now understand the relevance of a conference like this. All the best of luck, I would say. I hope that you get the results that you're looking for.
Thank you. And I certainly hope the conference wasn't particularly set up for families and individuals who live with mental health problems. But if any people want to come to the conference between the 11th and the 15th of August, I'm sure they'd be very welcome to come and join in some of the activities.
And likewise, any of the professionals in the sphere. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you very much.
A fantastic development. And again, I have to reiterate, I love the fact that we, as a whole, are starting to address these social issues. There are things that you can do as a professional working in this sector. This is the golden opportunity to share with some like-minded people who are burning that flag or burning that candle as well. So all the best of luck. You can get all of the details on Doctor's Orders this afternoon at 3 o'clock, or you can check out the website leigh-anne2014.co.za. Get all of the information there and how you can connect. But again, watch Doctor's Orders this afternoon at 3 o'clock and you'll get the inside track.